You see her across the room. She's laughing, talking, completely in the moment. You know you have something to say, something that could spark a real connection. But then, hesitation creeps in. You finally interject, hoping to add value, but instead, she gives you a polite smile and then shifts her focus elsewhere. That sting, that quiet dismissal, it's not because you're unattractive or boring. It's because most guys unknowingly kill attraction in the way they interject. The worst part? You don't even realize you're making these mistakes. But today, that changes. Because once you fix these 5 crucial mistakes, you'll notice something incredible. Women won't just hear you, they'll feel drawn to you. Let's get into it. Mistake 1. Speaking without reading the energy. Imagine this. You see a woman, maybe at a cafe, a bookstore, or just walking down the street. Something about her catches your attention. Her smile, the way she carries herself, or just an energy that draws you in. You want to say something, to make a connection, to spark a moment that could lead to something meaningful. But here's where most men go wrong. They dive in without reading the energy of the moment. They assume that because they want to talk, she must be open to it. They don't stop to assess what she's feeling, what she's experiencing in that moment, or whether she even has the emotional space for an interaction. Think about this. Have you ever been deep in thought, lost in a book, stressed about something important, or just in your own world, and then, bam, someone interrupts you? Not in a way that feels natural, but in a way that feels forced, almost intrusive. That's exactly what happens when you approach a woman without first reading the energy she's giving off. A woman's body language, facial expressions, and even the way she moves can tell you everything you need to know about whether she's open to an interaction or not. If she's standing with open posture, making eye contact with the world, and seeming present in her surroundings, chances are she's receptive. If she's closed off, avoiding eye contact, looking at her phone, or moving quickly with purpose, she might not be in the right headspace for a conversation. Most guys don't pay attention to this. They think confidence is about charging in no matter what, but real confidence, real social intelligence, is about understanding the rhythm of human interaction. It's about knowing when to speak and when to hold back. Women, like men, have moments when they feel social and moments when they don't. If you ignore that and speak without reading the energy, you risk making her feel uncomfortable, caught off guard, or even annoyed. And when that happens, you've lost before you've even begun. The worst part? It doesn't matter how interesting, funny, or attractive you are. If your timing is off, if your approach feels like an interruption rather than an invitation, she'll feel it. And that feeling, annoyance, discomfort, irritation, is what she will associate with you. On the other hand, when you approach with awareness, when you take a second to observe her energy, everything shifts. Maybe she glances up at you, maybe she smiles, maybe she seems open. Now, when you say something, it feels natural. It feels like the conversation was meant to happen. And that's the difference between a smooth, effortless connection and an awkward, forced interaction. So next time you're about to speak to a woman, pause, take a breath, read the energy of the moment, because words mean nothing if they arrive at the wrong time. Mistake 2, trying to prove your worth. Instead of owning it, you see a woman you're interested in. She's captivating. Maybe it's her confidence, the way she carries herself, or just something you can't quite explain. You want to make an impression. So, without even realizing it, you start trying to prove yourself. You talk about your accomplishments, the cool things you've done, the expensive things you own, or how people respect you. You subtly, or maybe not so subtly, try to show her, hey, I'm worth your time. But here's the truth. Trying to prove your worth is the fastest way to show that you don't believe in it yourself. And women, They can sense it instantly. Confidence isn't about listing your achievements like a resume. It's about embodying them. It's about walking into a room and knowing, without saying a word, that you belong there. When a man truly owns his worth, he doesn't need to explain it, justify it, or seek validation for it. It radiates from him effortlessly. The problem with trying to prove yourself is that it creates a power imbalance. You're subconsciously placing her above you, as if her approval is something you have to earn. And when a woman senses that you're looking for validation, it's a red flag. Not because she's mean or judgmental, but because deep down, she wants a man who already knows his value. A man who stands firm in who he is, without needing someone else to confirm it. Think about it like this. Imagine you meet a millionaire, a real one. Does he go around bragging about his wealth? Number, he doesn't need to. He just is. The way he carries himself, the decisions he makes, the way he speaks, it all reflects his success without him having to say a word. That's the energy you need to bring. When you stop trying to prove your worth, something incredible happens. You shift from a man who seeks validation to a man who gives validation. Instead of hoping she sees you as valuable, you become the one who decides if she aligns with your values. You become the man who can look at a beautiful, confident woman and think, she's amazing, but does she fit into my world? That shift changes everything. So how do you own your worth instead of trying to prove it? First, understand that your value doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how you live. If you're truly confident in yourself, it shows in your energy, your actions, your presence. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet. It's in the way you hold eye contact without looking away. It's in the way you listen without rushing to impress. It's in the way you carry yourself, knowing that you have nothing to prove. Second, stop oversharing in an attempt to impress. You don't need to list your achievements, drop names, or try to sound important. Instead, focus on being present. Ask questions. Be genuinely curious about her. When you're secure in yourself, you don't need to dominate the conversation. You let your energy speak for itself. Lastly, remind yourself that attraction is not about convincing someone to like you. It's about alignment. You're not trying to sell yourself, you're seeing if she's the right match for you. That small mental shift changes the entire dynamic. When you own your worth, you become the man who doesn't chase validation. He attracts it. And that's the kind of man who leaves a lasting impression. Mistake 3, overcompensating with humor. There's nothing wrong with being funny. In fact, humor can be one of the most powerful tools in social interactions. It can break the ice, lighten the mood, and even create a strong emotional connection. But when you start using humor as a shield, when it becomes a way to mask nervousness, insecurity, or a fear of rejection, that's when it turns into a mistake. Imagine this. You're talking to a woman you find attractive. You feel the pressure to impress, so you start cracking jokes, one after another without pause. Every sentence has a punchline. Every moment of silence is filled with another attempt to make her laugh. At first, she smiles, maybe even laughs a little, but as time goes on, her reactions become less enthusiastic. She starts glancing away, checking her phone, or simply giving you that polite, distant smile that says, "I'm not really feeling this." Why does this happen? Because humor, when overused or misused, can become a barrier rather than a bridge. When you rely too much on jokes, you rob the interaction of depth, of authenticity. Instead of forming a genuine connection, you're performing. You're acting like a stand-up comedian rather than a man who is present in the moment. Here's the harsh truth. When you overcompensate with humor, it signals that you're uncomfortable with silence, that you don't trust the conversation to flow naturally, that you're afraid of letting her see the real you. Women pick up on this, even if they don't consciously recognize it. They might not think, "Oh, he's insecure," but they'll feel something is off. And that feeling, it's what creates disinterest. The deeper issue here is why you feel the need to be funny all the time. Is it because you think your natural personality isn't enough? Is it because you fear rejection so much that you'd rather make her laugh than risk a real conversation? If so, you're not alone. A lot of guys fall into this trap, especially if they've been told that women love funny men. And while that's true, it's only half the story. Women love genuinely funny men, not men who are desperately trying to be funny every second of the interaction. What's even worse is when the humor isn't just excessive, but also misplaced. Some guys get so caught up in making jokes that they start making fun of the woman they're talking to, sometimes in a way that comes off as rude rather than playful. Other times, they resort to self-deprecating humor, thinking it will make them seem humble or endearing. But if you joke about yourself too much, constantly putting yourself down, it doesn't make you look confident. It makes you look like you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean you should be serious all the time. It's about balance. Humor should enhance the conversation, not dominate it. A well-placed joke can create a spark, but constant joking can kill attraction. The key is to be comfortable with not always being funny, to be able to sit in the silence without panicking, to trust that who you are is enough, even without a punchline. Instead of overcompensating with humor, try something different. Be present, be engaged, be real. Ask questions that actually matter. Share a story from your life that isn't just about getting a laugh, but about showing who you are. Make eye contact. Listen to her, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but actually listening. And when you do make a joke, let it come naturally. Let it flow from the moment, not from a place of trying too hard. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about being the funniest guy in the room. It's about being the guy who makes her feel something real. Mistake 4, talking at her instead of creating a moment. There's a subtle but critical difference between having a conversation with someone and simply talking at them. It's a mistake many people make when interacting with women. In the pursuit of impressing or showing off, we often forget the importance of creating a meaningful, shared experience that both individuals are part of. When you're talking at someone, it's almost as if you're not even looking to engage them in a genuine way. It's all about what you want to say, the points you want to make, the stories you want to tell. There's no room for the other person to really be a part of it. It's just a monologue with a physical presence beside you. But when you focus on creating a moment, everything changes. It shifts the conversation from being transactional to being transformational, from being about your words to being about your connection. A moment isn't just an exchange of sentences, it's a shared experience, a feeling, a vibe that you both walk away from remembering. It's something you both get to hold on to, something that resonates beyond the immediate interaction. Now here's the truth we don't always like to face. Women, or really anyone, can tell when you're simply trying to talk at them. The energy feels off. The connection feels forced. It's the difference between talking to someone and talking at them, and women, especially, can pick up on this instantly. They don't want to feel like a mere spectator in your performance. They want to feel involved, seen, heard. They want a conversation that's dynamic, a dance of give and take. This is where real emotional intelligence comes into play. It's about reading the room and sensing when to shift the tone, when to allow silence to fill the space, when to ask a question that invites her into the moment. The beauty of this is that it's not about performing for her approval. It's about creating something authentic, something that feels real. One of the most impactful moments you can create with a woman isn't one that leaves her in awe of your knowledge or charisma. No, it's the moment where she feels fully present with you. It's the moment where, instead of simply exchanging words, you're both lost in the conversation. There's a genuine flow, and that's where real connection happens. It's also important to note that creating a moment doesn't always require a grand gesture or deep philosophical conversation. Sometimes it's simply about being fully there with her, putting down your phone, making eye contact, listening with intent, and responding not just with your thoughts, but with your emotions too. This creates a space where she can be her authentic self, and you too are seen for who you really are, not just the version of yourself you're trying to present. When you create a moment, it invites her to engage emotionally, not just intellectually. It invites her to feel something in the present, not just understand something logically. And that emotional connection is what stays with her long after the conversation ends. It's not the facts, the stories, or even the witty lines you delivered. It's the feeling of being seen and heard, of being part of something real, and that's a rare gift you can offer in today's world, where so many are simply talking at each other and not truly connecting. So, next time you're talking to a woman, remember, don't just talk at her. Create a moment. Invite her into the conversation. Make space for her voice and listen with your heart. That's the magic of real connection. It's not the words, but the moment that lingers. Mistake 5. Overthinking and missing the moment. There's a silent killer of connection that many of us face without even realizing it. It's not a lack of charm, not a lack of confidence, and certainly not a lack of effort. It's overthinking, the constant mental chatter that steals the present moment and leaves you disconnected from the person right in front of you. You've probably experienced it before. You're talking to a woman, and suddenly, your mind floods with 100 thoughts. Did I say the right thing? Is she interested? Am I coming on too strong? These thoughts are all too common, but they do more damage than you might think. The moment you start to overthink, you miss the magic that could unfold naturally between the two of you. When you overthink, you're no longer truly present. You're not listening to her. You're listening to the noise in your head. You're not noticing the subtle signals she's sending, the way her eyes light up when you share something personal, the way she leans in a little closer, the slight smile she gives when she appreciates your joke. Instead of enjoying the conversation, you're locked in a battle with yourself, worrying about whether you're doing enough or saying too much. But here's the painful reality. The moment you start worrying about how you're coming across or what you should say next, you stop being the person she's interested in. Why? Because she's looking for authenticity, presence, and real connection. She wants to feel seen, heard, and understood, not just be another part of your mental checklist. This overthinking doesn't just affect your conversations, it affects how you feel about yourself too. You begin doubting your worth and your ability to truly connect. You start second-guessing your own value, which, ironically, makes you even more anxious and disconnected from the person you're speaking with. This cycle of doubt can be exhausting, and ultimately, it robs you of the opportunity to experience a genuine bond. But imagine if you could silence the noise in your head for just a moment. Imagine being able to just be in the moment with her, to hear her words and understand their meaning, to pick up on the subtleties in her tone, her gestures, the spaces between her words. Imagine the freedom of not worrying about saying something perfect, but just allowing the conversation to flow naturally, with both of you sharing, listening, and experiencing something real together. Here's a truth that most people don't realize. The best moments don't come from perfect lines or rehearsed moves. They come from being so present that you don't even notice time passing. They come from being able to enjoy the small, unscripted exchanges that, in the grand scheme of things, build the foundation of a deeper connection. So how do you stop overthinking? First, it's about awareness. Catch yourself when your mind starts spiraling. Acknowledge it, but don't let it control you. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and return to the moment. Shift your focus from what you think you should be saying to truly listening to her words, to understanding her emotions, and to feeling the energy between the two of you. Second, trust yourself. Understand that you don't need to be perfect. You're already enough as you are. It's not about saying the perfect thing, it's about being the person who's genuinely engaged, who's giving her your full attention. When you focus on this, the anxiety starts to fade, and what remains is connection. Lastly, let go of the pressure. Every conversation doesn't need to lead to something monumental. Sometimes the most meaningful connections happen when you're just sharing a simple, honest moment with someone. So don't put unnecessary weight on the interaction. Allow things to unfold naturally, and trust that whatever happens will happen. In the end, overthinking is a barrier to connection. It prevents you from fully experiencing the moment and getting to know the person you're with. The key to overcoming this mistake is to be present, to embrace vulnerability, and to let the conversation unfold without pressure. Only then can you truly connect and leave a lasting impression. Let's recap the 5 biggest mistakes. 1. Ignoring the energy of the conversation. 2. Trying to prove your worth instead of owning it. 3. Overcompensating with humor. 4. Talking at her instead of creating a shared moment. 5. Overthinking and missing the moment. If you shift these small habits, you'll notice an instant transformation in how women respond to you. Conversations will flow. Attraction will build naturally, and you'll no longer feel like you're trying to get her attention because she'll be naturally drawn to you. So here's my challenge to you. Which of these mistakes do you struggle with the most? Drop it in the comments below, and if you want to take your confidence to the next level, hit that like and subscribe because we're just getting started. Until next time, stay bold, stay present, and go create moments worth remembering.